Sevens, the vice is gluttony. And this is not necessarily just with food. It's not like they just want to eat a lot. Whatever it is, though, whatever's happening in their life, they want more. There's this feeling that they want a little bit more. And so they want more choices. Like if you choose, like you give a 7 a choice between chocolate and vanilla, they want the swirl. Well, that wasn't an option, but you made it an option. 32 flavors is not enough for the 7. Like they want more. These are people who might make plans with you, but then also make plans with her, and then make plans with him, and then they're just going to kind of like party hop from here to here. That's kind of like stereotypical 7 energy. But what's interesting is I taught this workshop last weekend, and my sister was in the room, and she told me that she was a 7, and I was a little surprised. And she's like, "Yeah, that's why my garden keeps growing, because I always want more plants. Like I can't just decide to have this many plants. Like I need to have more plants." And I was like, "That's really interesting." 7s can sometimes be pigeonholed as like the life of the party. Like they're very energetic, they're very out there, they're bringing the fun. But sometimes they're bringing the fun to gardening, So it's like these types and these structures show up in all different ways. But when a 7 starts to work on themselves and this kind of fear of being trapped, that's why they always want more. Because they're afraid of being trapped without enough. Afraid of being stuck in a situation, so they need more options. But when they start to do their work, the virtue of sobriety comes up. And that doesn't mean that they quit drinking, although some 7s do. What it means is that they learn that enough is enough. They're always looking for more. And when they develop the virtue of sobriety, they start to be in touch with the fact that sometimes less is more. Sometimes enough is just enough. And that allows 7s to slow down and to settle in a way that like you can't get anywhere else. 7s grow the most with disciplined practice, consistent practice. 7s often show up in the yoga studio with their Lululemon pants and their brand new mat and their like fancy top, and they're really looking the part, and they go into the great studio and they're out there and they're having fun because they love this like good vibes culture. And they're like, "Oh, that was the best thing ever. I feel so good. That was so much fun. Let's do this again next week." And then you don't see them for 6 months. They're off doing something else. So it's really important for 7s to develop a consistent practice, to develop something that requires them to show up every day. And another piece of that with their yoga practice is learning how to work with their own pain and discomfort. 7s don't want to be uncomfortable. It's a really big thing for 7s. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to be in anything that might possibly even resemble pain at all. Even if you squint like this, if it looks like pain, they don't want it. And so yoga is a practice of learning how to work with your discomfort, and it's so deeply valuable for 7s. And then 7s experience presence as an uncaused joy. And this is wonderful because they're out there doing all this stuff, they're filling their schedule, they're overcommitting, they're saying yes to all these things, they're working so hard to avoid pain. But when they're present, they realize that they're just joyful. And when your joy doesn't have a cause, then there's not a cause to be unjoyful. There's something really deep and magic about that for 7s.